Hello, this is Mrs. Brantner coming to you from my office to share a little more information on the direction that the district has been heading since the creation of our new mission statement graphic. So some of you may realize that in the spring and fall of 2018, a group of community members and educators came together with the purpose of creating new mission, vision, and values for the district. That work hadn't been done in many years, in fact, back in probably the mid-90s. And so it was definitely time to put a fresh look on things here. The product that resulted was actually quite exciting and not quite expected. The first part of that product was a mission statement graphic. Not a paragraph, but a graphic that contains 3 words: connect, empower, and ignite. And that is followed by a series of 5 statements of commitment. We have been diligently working since the start of the school year at beginning just an increased focus on that mission statement graphic, starting with the first word, connect. So we've been doing extra discussing, extra activities, and hopefully things that you are starting to feel and notice as it relates to connection. It is certainly our desire to create strong partnerships with our parents and our students, and of course it's my job to make sure that I have strong connections here among staff members so that all of us together can support students in achieving at the very highest level.
Connection to me is a level of trust between student and teacher, between adult and child, that allows for learning to happen at its highest level. Kids need to feel safe in the classroom. They need to feel both physically and academically safe in the classroom to take risks, to try things they've never done before, and our teachers need to feel that they are safe to try to take risks in the classroom and do things that they've never done before. And I think that that's all done when there's a level of trust.
Connection to me is really about taking the time to check in with people, get to know them, figure out what makes them tick, what they're passionate about, and also just making sure that everything's okay. If there's anything that they need or they need support, I think it's critical in an educational setting because there's so many different people with so many different walks of life, and you never know at any given moment what someone's going through.
Well, in athletics, connection is so important. Especially with our coaches and their athletes, they need to establish that connection, that relationship, build that rapport, and it truly is a trust that they have to build, because the kids have to know that the coach, when they're telling them to do things to get prepared for a game, they have to trust that what they're telling them to do is going to be beneficial in the long run. So that relationship has to be built, and that connection has to be built early in the season.
Okay. Well, when I think about I'm connecting in an educational setting, I think about us connecting with each other as team members, as staff. I think about connecting with parents, and I also think about connecting with the community as well. So I think that those 3 things are really important, and when you build those relationships with people and you work together, what the research shows is that you have a better chance for success in the academic environment. So. Okay.
So this year we have been charged with making connections in new and innovative ways. So one of the ways that I think about making connections is about understanding exactly what our families, our students, and our staff are saying and meaning when they use terms like, oh, the year is going great, or we love your school, or if there is a challenge ahead. Doing some mining, so to speak, which is why. Why is something a challenge? Why is this a barrier? Why is our school looked upon as a great place to be? So that ensures that we keep going with the things that we are doing absolutely correct, and we can identify the specific behaviors that we're having. And then for the challenges, we look at it in terms of how do we make that different, and how do we make small steps. So I think connections for KCH and for me personally are about finding what is going well and why, and what are our challenges and why.
In focusing on the connection aspect of our mission this year, we actually talked in faculty meetings about how many different ways you could interpret that, and thinking that most people want to focus on having the adults in the building or the district connect with the kids, having the kids connect with each other, but also having the administration connect with the faculty, having faculty connect with parents. So there's just a multitude of connections that we're trying to make. And the connections that we value are really just part of having positive relationships.
When I hear connection, I think of social groups, and so just recently we were discussing what makes life a fulfilling life. The conclusion we reached is that folks are most happy when they're in a social group, when folks feel connected to each other through similar interests or similar circumstances. Then a great feeling is derived from that. When we talk about connecting, that's why I think it's important, because people feel welcomed and they feel part of a group. And when folks are part of a group and they're connected socially, I think they tend to be happier. And
I think it has been very exciting this year to have this particular theme of connections as we start the school year off. It's a very natural way to start the school year as we start thinking about connections right from day one. We start thinking about connecting with new parents, a new group of students, even in some cases some new faculty members. So the things that we can do to build those connections right off the start, it's exciting. It's exciting for us, and again, it's very natural. I think it also lays the foundation for work that we're going to do all year long. The more connected we feel to each other, it builds that sense of support, it builds that sense of empathy, it builds that sense of teamwork and working together and collaboration. So the more connected we are, the easier I think it is for doing our work moving forward. And that's not just with staff and students, that goes along with parents too. So when we make those connections with parents, hopefully they feel like we're in this together. We're partnering with them, we're building that work throughout the school year, and it gives us the opportunity to learn a little bit about each other, and the more we know about each other, the more powerful we can be for their students as we move through the school year.
I think we're trying to reach out and build those connections with the parents. We realize that the success of any child is really a three-legged stool. It's between the school, it's between the child, and between the parent. And anything that we can do to strengthen those relationships only helps us build trust and helps us to amplify learning.
Well, one thing that I'm doing is attending as many meetings, grade level meetings or department meetings that I can, whether I'm attached to them directly or not, and just communicating in that way and connecting with them so that more people have more opportunities to do things professionally and to grow and to be involved in different projects and whatnot.
So we've been doing some really fun things in faculty meetings, just taking 5 minutes. Doesn't take any more than 5 minutes to try to build some connections with each other, whether it's playing a game, whether it's asking questions of each other just to get to know each other a little bit more, whether it's seeking information to find where we have some commonalities. And it's been kind of fun to find out things that you have in common with other people that you really didn't know that you had anymore, or that you had. So it's nice to, then you have that springboard or that foundation for additional conversations, or again, it kind of builds into that camaraderie and the collaboration that we like to build on, to be able to help each other and support each other. It's not being isolated, so we feel more of a team. We've been doing that at every faculty meeting, and what's been fun is some of the activities that we've done in faculty meetings, I know teachers have taken and have been doing in their classroom with students. So again, it's pushing that to not just an adult kind of atmosphere, but also with students. And then the more connected students feel, the more powerful their classroom experience can be, whether it's that they're connected with their teacher or whether it's how they're connected with their classmates. And I believe that helps them feel a sense of support and teamwork and collaboration and community. It's all about building community in the classroom as well.
In order to make connections, one of the important things is many of our students have one-to-one TAs. And so one of the things that we're doing is that we have the TAs and the special education teachers who are new to the students meet with those parents and offer those meetings to them before the school year starts. So this allows them to make that connection, and so that they know who's going to be with their kid throughout the day. Another thing that we're doing this year to make connections is that we're having student-led CSE meetings in grades 7 through 12, and we're doing this we're starting out small and we're piloting this. And what we're doing is having those kids reporting on their progress, and they are learning to advocate for themselves, and they are showing their parents and making those connections on what they do now and how it's going to impact them in the future. So that allows the kids to connect more with their program, and it also allows the parents to see how they're building that for their future success.
We are thinking creatively in terms of relating to each other and finding common experiences that bring us together. So for example, our pet therapy program is one way that we are looking at making connections with each other and our community and our students that we are all working on simultaneously. So if we can continue to identify larger initiatives that bring us all together and unite us for a common cause, then that's how we will continue what we're starting with the pet therapy program.
Another thing we've been doing a lot with is the Positivity Project and connecting with kids that way, and emphasizing the character traits of the Positivity Projects. Kids working on badges, the 4th, 5th, and 6th graders are working on earning badges in curiosity and kindness, in creativity, and they've been really running with that. So we're able to recognize them at monthly assemblies and celebrate anyone that's demonstrating some of those character traits. So that is a positive way to connect both with our kids and for our kids to connect with each other too.
Yes, connection, face-to-face, talking without the use of electronic means, because I don't think electronic means of communication are really communication. It's kind of one-sided. I get to say what I want to a wall, and then I can walk away from that, and I don't really think that that is a viable means for communicating.
I think social media continues to be a little bit of that double-edged sword as it opens up more doors for us, and it does open up that opportunity to connect further, farther, wider. I'm not sure that it opens up that opportunity to connect more deeply. So a lot of it is very surface, and in some cases I think difficult for students, especially our middle school students, to navigate. If they feel like they're connecting with other students, it's on a much different level. So I think we still have to work on that and find how we can use the power of social media to connect a little bit more deeply, or at least to help build those foundations for furthering connections.
I don't believe that social media is a way of personally connecting. I think social media is an impersonal way of connecting. I think that it is more and more important that our kids have those soft skills. Communication, being able to have eye contact with an adult when they have a conversation, to be able to articulate their wants and their needs so that problem solving can take place. Social media platforms are monologues, and problem solving and growth and learning is all done through dialogue.
I think social media is amazing how it does connect people across the globe. However, I do think in some respects it's superficial because you're not looking at the person. So I do think it's something that it's important to connect in multiple ways and teach kids that it's important to make connections in several different modalities. But that human connection of sitting across from someone, it can't be replaced.
We look forward to continuing this very important work and have begun mapping out the next step in our strategic planning process. You'll be hearing more about that in the weeks to come. Thank you and have a good day.